Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Metropolis. Now, I do believe that this particular game determines seeding, I want to say, because the top 7 qualify, and as a result, I believe both of these gentlemen have already qualified for IEM Poland in Katowice. So, therefore, this is going to be for seeding, but it's game number 3 with the scores tied up at 1-all, and the map is going to be Metropolis. Spawning over here as the green Zerg in the 6 o'clock position. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Orc King himself, possibly one of the most revered pro gamers of all time. It is Grubby. And he is going to be facing off against the red Zerg player in the top. Both of them have qualified, even though they had to take each other out in the winner's bracket. But this half of the Spanish Armada is not over yet. The red Zerg player, ladies and gentlemen, representing Karante Esports, we have Vortix. And it's been a very long evening. I just double-checked to make sure my mic isn't muted, and it's not. This is a pretty exciting game to watch, actually. I mean, both of them have qualified, but they still want to make sure they get the highest seeding possible. So it's going to matter quite a lot come the main tournament. An easier bracket means an easier time. You might be able to conserve some of your stamina, for example, for later on in the tournament. And tournaments are tough places, man. You need to be moving, resetting up your computer, moving from place to place. Finishing a best of 3, if the other side of the bracket finished way before you, they're going to be waiting on you to play games. So while everyone else is resting up, you need to play your games back to back. So if these guys can get a better seed, or they can potentially get into an easier part of the bracket where they might have easier games or they might have more rest time, they need to take the opportunity with both hands. So they need to be fighting as hard as they can. Their main goal has been accomplished. They do now qualify. But will they be able to progress beyond here as far as that seeding is concerned? And it's 1-all at the moment, so the series well poised, and it's all going to come down to this final game. So we have got the Forge on the low ground this game for Grubby. Going to be walling that off with a gateway as well, and we should be seeing a cannon pop down at some point soon, I believe. There we go. And in the meantime, that cannon actually is not going to complete in time for these 3 Zerglings to pop through, and Grubby needs to hold that probe there. But, oh, very nicely done. He knew that the probe was not going to be able to was not going to be able to survive in time to 3 Zerglings. So what Grubby did instead was to harass the Zerglings as much as possible, and the cannon's going to finish. Oh, so close to a pylon getting taken out there. Grubby sacrificing a probe with his micro. So what happened there? The P knew that the probe was not going to survive against 3 Zerglings, so he came out and built the pylon to block them off. Vortix, in the meantime, 4 Zerglings is the magic number where you can kill a pylon faster than it's being built. He had 3, so he targets down the pylon that's already built, hoping he can pick it off. Grubby comes back to try and attack the Zerglings with his 1 probe. Doesn't end up successfully doing so, but manages to get 1 Zergling to low enough hit points that the cannon would be able to one-shot it. He then runs away, and the probe does get killed off, but Vortix is unable to get into the base. Really well played there by Grubby. Good defense. And Vortix, in the meantime, is going to go for his 3rd base. So everything looking pretty normal here. Really nice play to start that game off. Hopefully we can continue this series in the same vein. And Grubby is going to be going for a Stargaze. It's positioned next to his Cybernetics core at the natural expansion. There is no Overlord in place to see this down on the bottom left side of the map. The only Overlord, because we're in close by air positions, is on the right, and it's going to take him so long to travel before he can come over here and see the Stargate. So Vortix, as it currently stands, won't be able to scout it until something pops out. We do have the Overlord now moving into the main base. And a robotics facility getting placed on the high ground as well. So let's see what comes out first from this target. We have got a Phoenix opener from Grubby here. And we do see the Overlord popping towards the natural expansion, just ambling his way along very, very slowly there. And we have a sentry that's out of the gateway for Grubby, a second one coming out, but he's not actually maneuvering it to take out the Overlord. The first Phoenix instead is going to be doing that job. And the sentry going to come in to help as well. So the Stargate has now been revealed. Vortix also sees the robotics facility down here on the high ground. And, well, he doesn't need to see the Stargate, but he sees it anyway. As the Phoenix finishes the Overlord off. And immediately, I like this, pulling those Overlords back to base, wanting to make sure that the Phoenixes can do as little damage as possible. And we have 3 more gateways coming down here from Grubby. 4 more at the moment, actually. We've got an observer coming out of the robotics facility. These Phoenix trying to do as much damage as they can, but the Queeds will be able to shoo it away. That's not too much of a problem. We are going up to a total of 6 gateways. We have the robotics facility and the Stargate down for Grubby. He is continuing to produce Phoenixes as it currently stands as well. And he is at 45 probes at the moment to 62 drones. So Phoenix going to be coming in to try and see if he can pick apart anything at the third base location, but a Queen and a Spore Crawler together mean that that's really not very possible at this point. 2 more Phoenixes now out in the middle of the map. The Zergling does see them both via the Zelnaga Tower, and Grubby's going to be able to unite his 3 Phoenixes to hopefully get a bit of harassment damage done. Right now, though, oh, there we go, there's a 4th Phoenix there, but they're kind of all over the place at the moment, picking up that Zergling with that Phoenix. A couple of rocks actually being picked up on the bottom as well, interestingly, and that does get taken out. We also have a sentry slowly blasting away at these destructible debris. We have a 3rd sentry joining in now, and that's going to be a massive DPS boost. That means these destructible rocks are going to get destroyed in probably about 5 years instead of 7. So, a great news there, as Grubby now flies out with 5 Phoenixes and counting towards his opponent's base. So he's getting pretty serious about this air attack here. We also have immortal production starting at the robotics facility. +1 ground ARPA on the way with +1 attack already done. And these Phoenixes are going for an all-out assault here, trying to pick apart Overlords, Queens, drones, whatever they can find, starting at the 3rd base location and moving outward as well. Maybe trying to pick off some Queens that could be spreading creep. But there are only creep shooters here. No Queens out in the middle of the map that we can see so far. Grubby going to be saving these Phoenixes for another day, just denying that map vision, using that energy for something useful because he can't quite get into the bases due to the Spore Crawlers. Vortix, in the meantime, has taken his 4th base, knowing that there's not too much Grubby can do about it with a pure air force. But we have got 3 sentries in a warp prism coming out from Grubby. Oh, and I like this. He's going to drop those in the main base. He's going to force field off the ramp, and here we go. Units are getting warped in. A lot of Zealots inside the main base here of Vortix, and will Grubby win with this push? All of the Roaches and Zerglings are on the bottom here, and we have Immortals as well behind here, so we could potentially go into a follow-up push with Immortals. We can see that Vortix has gone for a counterattack. Still more and more things being moved out of this main base by virtue of death. We do have a couple of Infestors picking apart the War Prism, which is a nice thing there. But at the end of the day, Grubby is in full control of this main base for now. Is he going to attempt to take apart the layer? We'll find out in just a sec. But we have at the moment Vortix trying to go for the cannons at the 3rd base location. Will successfully do that. 3 Immortals out here though for Grubby, and a Zealot warp in as well. Might ensure that Vortix has very, very limited damage he can do here at the 3rd base. He'll be able to take apart the 3rd base of Grubby, but won't be able to get into the natural. In the meantime, Grubby surrounding the layer still with force fields on those sentries, and slowly picking apart everything in the main base, taking out those Roaches as they come, trying to buy some time. 2 Roaches do get in though, and this last sentry needs to get a force field in. Grubby unfortunately missing a single force field there, but the Roaches targeting the sentries down, and that means the layer is going to survive. The army's going to finally spill into the main base, and that 1 missed force field means a lot to Grubby right now, because he was not able to do the damage to Vortix he wanted to do. If he could keep that ramp just force fielded about 30 seconds longer, he would have been able to pick apart the layer, but as it stands, he was unable to do so. So let's take a bit of stock of where we are at the moment. 68 workers to 62 in Grubby's favor as it currently stands. 116 supply to 123, and now Grubby, having killed the Spore Crawlers with the Zealots, is coming in with his Phoenixes as well. He'll be able to pick apart the Queen, these remaining Overlords, and possibly a couple of drones as well. He should really move forward with those as quickly as he possibly can. Nice couple of drone kills there, and the Overlords are now getting the brunt of it as well. A few of them will go down. He might end up picking Infestors if he's not careful. A couple of Queens there trying to do their best to defend. Is he going to pick apart the second Queen? No, he's not. He's actually going to move away before the Spore Crawlers get there. Fair enough. Grubby is rebuilding his third base as well. He's gone up to 5 Immortals at the moment, and he has a decent number of Sentries with it. So a follow-up Sentry Immortal push could actually be quite good, especially if these Phoenixes can go into a direct engagement and maybe lift a bunch of those Infestors. That would be fantastic news for him as well. Let's see if he ends up doing it. Vortix keeping out of sight of these Phoenixes, not wanting Grubby to know exactly where his army movements are. And he has got that 4th base down, but he's not doing anything with it just yet, only now starting to think about droning up. Grubby now resupplying his 3rd base with those probes now that the Nexus is complete as well. And we've got 2 Colossi on the way at a time out of those robotics facilities with extended thermal lamps and +1 Protoss shields incoming, because he has 1-1 and he doesn't yet have a Twilight Cancel, so he's getting as many upgrades as he possibly can. Vortix now going to attempt to break the natural expansion here. The Phoenix is lifting up those Immortals as predicted, but only one of them at a time actually getting much purchase. There we go, lifting one of them at a time. That's what he wanted to do. Picks apart an Immortal there. The Infested Terrans unable to do anything, and Grubby is going to have to defend at the 3rd base location. Now Vortix is going to be coming in with a whole bunch of Roaches and Lynx. A decent number of Infestors behind it as well, but they don't have too much energy left on them. Mainly Infested Terrans getting put down, and those eggs at the moment only at 70 health, but a lot of Infested Terrans do actually end up popping. But so many Immortals in this army for Grubby. It's going to be so difficult for Vortix to break through here with that much DPS, and 2 Colossi joining the fray as well. Grubby is going to be able to roll all over this army. Too many Immortals, and with the Colossi as well, it's GG, and Grubby, ladies and gentlemen, wins that best of 3 against Vortix, and as a result, gets that favorable seeding.